Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on orders over $10. From April 2nd, 2021 through April 23rd, 2021, if you use this promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing to win a Strixhaven set booster box. Also, there is another way to enter where no purchase is necessary. See the link in the description below for full details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. A lot to talk about as always. This week we had the full reveal of Commander 2021, and as you could imagine, a lot of the cards that were revealed are having an impact on cards in the secondary market. You'll see that throughout the video today. Also, there's still a lot of players looking forward to the eventual return of Magic Fest, whenever that will be. And they are trying to pick up cards that are performing well on MTGO past that February banned and restricted list update for various formats. We'll see some of that today. The market is slowing down at least a little bit compared to the last couple of weeks, so the threshold for this video is going to be $4. We're not going to talk about any cards unless they're at least moving $4 up or down today. Quickly before we get into the details though, just a fast reminder, if you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use that Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, you can pre-order Strixhaven products there. They also did restock on some Time Spiral remastered booster boxes if you're still looking for one. And remember, if your order comes to over $100 or if it consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. And of course, whenever you use that promo code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated. So thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. We'll begin with Standard, and there's not a lot of Standard legal cards moving much right now. I think a lot of people want to see how Strixhaven is going to impact the format before they start making more purchases. So what do we have? Well, one card going down in value. It is Tulane Teller of Tales. This is the copy from the list. Now, this card was removed from the list with the release of Kjell time, so that's worth noting. It normalizes down this week, 673 to 599. Very popular commander. Also part of the 99 of some builds too there. That takes us to the Pioneer Legal Spotlight. We're going to look at the cards that are Pioneer Legal that are moving the most this week, up or down, starting with the ones going down. And the first one is Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. It goes down 464 to 79.99. Now, this card has been spiking pretty aggressively recently, so this normalization isn't totally unexpected. Still sees a lot of play in Pioneer. This is in mono green mid-range. Modern, you'll find it in Tron. Many times Eldrazi Tron there too. Legacy, it's in mono green Cloudpost. And in Commander, it's in Kozilek the Great Distortion, and much more there. Next, we have that foil copy of Icy Manipulator that was in the Deckmasters Garfield vs. Finkle product. This is basically a price adjustment after a really strange spike last week. It goes down 480 to 1450. This card does see some Commander play. Next we have Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. This is the copy from the list, normalizing down after a rather unusual spike that occurred a couple weeks ago when this card dried up in the secondary market online. This week it does go down $25.95 to $29.99. Although it is worth noting this is coming off the list with Strixhaven very soon. When it comes to gameplay, again, this sees a ton of it. Pioneer, it's in mono green mid-range. It's a huge Commander mana-based card that's especially good in mono color builds. And this has seen some increased play in a lot of new decks recently. Turgid God of Fright / Turgid's Lantern, Lathril Blade of the Elves, Vorinclex Monstrous Raider, Orvar the Allform, and more. Alright, let's look at some cards going up in value, starting with As Foretold. It goes up 434 to 14.99. In Modern, this is in Electro Balance and more. Also, it does get some Commander play in Atraxa, Praetor's Voice, and some other decks there. Additionally, we did see some Suspend reprints in Time Spiral Remastered, which could have brought some attention to this card. But there is a big reason this is going up as much as it is this week, and it has to do with some leaked information. It is unconfirmed, and if you're trying to avoid leaks, I'll give you a moment to skip to the next card before I tell you what we know. The rumor that's out there doesn't come with any pictures or anything like that, but it was posted by somebody who has been correct in the past about certain information from Wizards. And what they said was, in Modern Horizons 2, there was going to be a cycle of new uncastable Suspend cards. That has resulted in some speculation on this. Haven't seen this in a while. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria of 445 to 34.99. In Pioneer, this is in Azorius and Esper control builds. Modern control builds use this too, and they have been performing pretty well in this new meta. This also gets a good amount of Commander play in many builds, including Atraxa, Praetor's Voice, a very popular one. And it's even in new decks there too, like Asika, God of the Tree / the Prismatic Bridge. Omniscience is next. This is the copy from Core Set 2019. It goes up 469 this week to 2802. This can see Pioneer play, sometimes in Lotus Combo, In Legacy, though, it's a big card there, and Omnitel and Sneak and Show. Those decks are doing very well in the new meta there. This also happens to be a great commander card in a lot of decks, including a newer one, as Sika got of the tree. Last card in this section is Smothering Tithe. It goes up $6.69 this week to $44.99. This continues to be a huge commander staple. This will be an especially good upgrade to the Lorehold Legacies Commander 2021 deck, and this did get a Command Zone mention in a video about that deck as well this week, which could have brought some more attention to it. And that takes us to the Modern Legal Spotlight. Let's see what's going on in the world of Modern. We'll start with some cards going down in value. Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, the original copy from Rise of the Eldrazi, goes down $7.90 to $109.82. This is seeing some retraction after recent spikes, so again, not too surprising. Also worth noting that this is going to be added to the list with Strixhaven. Granted, any one particular card on the list is going to be difficult to pull, but if it stays on there through maybe 2 or 3 sets, that printing could start to add some more significant inventory out there. When it comes to gameplay, it gets a lot of commander play in the popular Kozilek the Great Distortion build and more. Also seeing more play now in a deck there that we've mentioned a few times already in this video as Sika God of the Tree. Next we have Cavern of Souls from Ultimate Masters. It goes down $8 to $91.06, and this is another card that has been going up in value quite a bit recently, retracting this week. This is also a card that joined the list with Keldheim, and maybe, since it is sticking around into Strixhaven, people are starting to think that more copies could begin circulating from that particular printing. Regardless, though, this is still a fantastic card. In Modern, it's an Amulet Titan, Eldrazi Tron, Spirits, and much more there. Sees Legacy and Vintage play as well, and it is a huge commander card in lots of different builds, including a newer one, Lathril Blade of the Elves. This happens to be good in Sliver decks too, and as you know, those have been hot ever since the reprinting of Sliver Legion and some other key slivers in Time Spiral Remastered. Next we have Windswept Heath from Onslaught, and you might remember from last week, all of these Onslaught fetch lands were spiking. Now they are retracting, normalizing a little bit, although I don't think they're going to go back to where they were before those spikes began. In today's video, you're going to see the 2 that are losing the most value, and this is the first one. It goes down $8.66 to $98.99 this week. Originally, I think the extra interest in these cards at least came partially from Time Spiral Remastered. I think a lot of players started thinking about old card frames again because of that product. But then as the market started to get a little drier and prices started to go up, the fear of missing out kicked in with other players. And I'm sure you also had some speculation happening as well. And that's why we saw such aggressive spikes, maybe even some targeted buyouts in there. With all that being said, though, this of course is going to be a highly played card like all fetch lands are. Wherever they're legal, pretty much they're going to see play. This one in particular, though, was hot recently because it's part of the mana base for Heliod Company in Modern, and that's been a very successful deck in this new Modern meta. Speaking of cards that have been performing well in the new Modern meta, here's Auriok Champion from Fifth Dawn. It goes down this week, $8.86 to $54, but it has been climbing pretty aggressively recently, if you remember from past videos. In Modern, you'll find this in Heliod Company, Death and Taxes, Soul Herder, Hammer Time, and more. Also see some Commander play. Coat of Arms, this is the one from the Premium Deck Series Slivers. It goes down $12.33 this week to $36.20. This copy only comes in foil. Very familiar story here. This is a card that spiked wildly about 2 weeks ago. Since then, it has been coming down and normalizing, retracing. Now, when it comes to other copies of this card, most of them are pretty stable, losing value for the most part. There is one still going up in value. You're going to see that one later in the video. But what was the original catalyst for this jump? Well, it's a great tribal commander card to begin with. Seeing more play now in a lot of new builds like Lathril Blade of the Elves. But of course, the key driver for this was the renewed interest in slivers. Additionally, now there could be some players thinking about using this around Strixhaven and Commander 2021 cards that have been previewed. We have seen a lot of token creation in those products, and there's some tribes people might be interested in building around in the future. Pest Spirits, Elementals, Inklings, even to some degree Wizards. They all got support in Strixhaven. And here's the Onslaught fetch land that's losing the most value this week. It is Wooded Foothills. It goes down $35.51 to $89.99. This one is found in the mana base of those modern Jund Death Shadow builds, another high-performing deck in that new Modern meta. And the last card going down in value is Phyrexian Arena, and this is a card that's still hot. Other copies are going up in value. You're going to see that later in the video. But this Plane Chase copy had a very unnatural spike a few weeks back. Now it's going down $36.50 to $40.69. This is a huge commander card in a ton of builds. It has seen increased play recently due to the popularity of the Turgid God of Fright decks in the format. This could be a good upgrade to the Witherbloom Witchcraft Commander 2021 deck. Maybe some people are thinking about that. Also, it might be of interest to players looking to add the Chain of Smog Professor Onyx combo to a mono black commander deck. Alright, the first modern card going up in value is Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre. This is the one from Ultimate Masters, up $9.94 to $80. Great commander card, it's in Kozilek the Great Distortion and more. It's also getting more play now in new builds too, like Isika, God of the Tree. Here's another copy of Coat of Arms I promised you. This is from Duels of the Planeswalkers. It goes up $10.07 to $37.83. Morphon the Boundless, this is the copy from the list, and it did join those cards with Keltime's release, so not too long ago. It goes up $14.01 to $49. This is an extremely popular commander in different tribal builds, also part of the 99 of a lot of decks there too. You'll find this in Dragons builds, the very popular Sliver builds, for example. It also shows up sometimes in Isika God of the Tree decks too, which of course are becoming more popular, it seems. Additionally, this got a Command Zone podcast mention is something you might want to play along with a new Strixhaven card. That is Blex Vexing Pest, Search for Blex. Flusterstorm is next. This is the copy from Commander, going up $14.25 to $40.48. This might be a good card to deal with the Magecraft mechanic from Strixhaven and Commander 2021. I think that's why some people are picking it up now. This already sees a lot of play, though, in multiple formats, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. Bitter Blossom, this is heating up again. Check out these prices. Modern Masters 2015 up $4.15 to $56.99. Ultimate Masters up $7.76 to $63.02. Morning Tide goes up $15.02 to $74.85. In Modern, you'll find this in Dimir Fairies, Orzhov Stoneblade, sees a little Legacy play too, but it is a very popular Commander card, and it does see more play now in Turgid God of Fright builds. I do think, though, players are starting to turn their attention to Strixhaven and Commander 2021, and that's why this card is moving as much as it is right now. This could be a good upgrade to the Witherbloom Witchcraft Commander 2021 deck. Plus, it could be a good card to have just in general for a pest build, or a build trying to run the Chain of Smog Professor Onyx combo. On top of all of that, I am seeing this in a lot of early deck lists around a new Strixhaven card. It's this one here, Extus Auric Overlord, Awaken the Blood Avatar. And I'm going to mention this card a few more times in this video. It does feel like it's starting to move the price of some cards in the secondary market. Our last card in this section is Fable of Wolf and Owl. It goes up $18.24 to $23.77. It is an Eventide rare. I'm going to use my one per video. You know this already if you watch these videos. During this time period in Magic, there was a recession in the game. Less packs were cracked. So rares, if they haven't been reprinted like this one, they tend to get a little spiky when people pay attention to them. So why are people paying attention to this one? Well, we did discuss this in a video last week about Adrix and Nev Twincasters from Commander 2021. That alone could have started to bring some attention to the card. Considering it was an Eventide card, there probably wasn't a lot of extra copies necessarily in the online marketplace to begin with. But with that being said, it does truly appear to be showing up in a lot of the early Adrix and Nev Twincasters deck lists that I am seeing. Also, just in general, it could be a good upgrade to the Quantum Quandrix Commander 2021 deck, which has Adrix and Nev in it. Another early Commander deck list that seems to be using Fable of Wolf and Owl is based around the card you see on your right. It is Tanazir Quandrix from Strixhaven. That's going to take us to the Vintage Spotlight, and again, those older sets, there's tons of activity. We can't possibly cover it all. Again, Unlimited, Arabian Nights, Antiquities, and Legends. I'm only going to talk about cards that are moving at least $100 and at least 10% in the video today. Remember, in this section, as well as the rest of the video, these prices are for very high-grade copies of the card. Shop around if you're looking to pick up a card. You can always find better deals because these are average prices. The prices you see on the screen are going to be very similar to the prices you see on those price tracking websites, but if I'm not seeing true sales that are matching that, I'll let you know. We begin with our first reserve list card of the day, as you can see from the upper right hand corner. This is Lion's Eye Diamond. It goes up $11.06 to $701.96. Percentage-wise, not a big increase, but still, the card is at least stable. In Legacy, you'll find this in Karn Echoes, Doomsday, Dredge, and more. Also gets Vintage and Commander play. Savannah from Revise goes up $12.78 this week to $372.49. Entomb, this is the copy from the premium deck series Graveborn. It only comes in foil. It goes up $12.82 this week to $42.20. In Legacy, you'll find this in Reanimator as well as World Gorger combo, but it is a highly played Commander card. It's in a lot of different decks there. Additionally, this got a Command Zone podcast mention this week as something you might want to play in a Blex Vexing Pest Commander build. Squandered Resources of $14.07 to $64.06. This is sometimes found in Legacy Alurin. Also gets Commander play in the Gitrog Monster and more. Sensei's Divining Top, Champions of Kamigawa up $10.48 to $79.95. Eternal Masters up $14.11 to $90. This sees Vintage play and Paradoxical Outcome and more. But it is a huge Commander card. You'll find this in Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow and much more in the format. Remember too, Strixhaven and Commander 2021 have a fair number of cards that have you looking for certain card types on the top of your deck. So this may be getting more play in the future as an upgrade to the Prismari Performance Commander 2021 deck. And it might just show up in a number of different builds with these new cards. Force of Will, highly played Commander Legacy and Vintage card. Eternal Masters goes up $4.59 to $126.94. Double Masters up $14.39 this week to $133. Mox Diamond from Stronghold up $18.03 to $698.99. This is in Legacy lands and more. Also, this gets a good amount of Commander play. However, some people might think this plays well with a new card from Strixhaven, but there's actually a reason that it doesn't. The card I'm referring to is Strict Proctor. The Oracle text on Mox Diamond, and this is true for other cards too, like Lotus Val, it has been changed from when it enters the battlefield to if it enters the battlefield. So it's no longer a enters the battlefield trigger, it's actually a replacement effect. Now this actually does work with Lotus Field, which is a little confusing, but this won't work with Mox Diamond. Mana Crypt, the Mystery Booster copy, goes up $12.25 to $165.26. The Double Masters copy up $19.58 to $181.64. This is a great Vintage and great Commander card in a lot of different decks. Next we have Bayou from Revised. That goes up $25.04 to $6.49. Now this price is a pretty good average between high-grade raw and high-grade graded copies. There's a number of cards on the list today that fall under that category. I won't keep saying that, so if that's the case, I just will move on. But remember that from this point forward, the prices you're going to see are pretty much averages of those two types of cards. Singing Tree up $100.89 to $599.99. High-grade copies of this card can get to that price point. Raws are selling for about $310 though. Aladdin, the copy from Arabian Nights, goes up $106.32 to $337.50. Mishra's Factory, the Antiquities Winter variant that you see on the screen there, it goes up $107.51 to $610 this week. Land Equilibrium up $110 to $899.99. Solkanara, the Swamp King from Legends, it goes up $127.15 to $199.95, or does it? Well, high-grade raw copies are selling for about $70. High-grade graded copies have sold for about $130, but it has been a while since there's been a sale that I can find. It is possible the next sale could be close to this price point. Serendib Efreet, this is the one from Arabian Nights, it goes up $131.51 to $1,067.50. Cabal Ghoul up $140.01 to $275. High-grade raw copies are selling for about $170. Graded copies have sold for about $215, but again, it's been a while since I've seen a sale. The next one could hit that price point in theory. Tropical Island from Unlimited up $180 to $2,050. This price point seems a tad bit high. The high-grade raw copies are selling between $1,200 and $1,300, graded for about $1,820. Time Vault from Unlimited up $202.28 to $1,424.20. Is that for real? Well, this price point is a little high, of course, for raw copies, but high-grade graded copies can sell for this and sometimes even more for this. Just kind of depends on what kind of grades are out there in any given week. Illusionary Mask from Unlimited up $205 to $744.99. Raw can break about $200 in high grade. Graded cards can break $700, so close. Guardian Beast this week goes up $209.75 to $1,075. Gwendolyn de Corsai goes up $338.03 to $784.98. High grade raw copies are selling for about $400. Graded copies about $750, so again close. Time Walk from Unlimited up $413.31 to $3,750 this week. Ringamaroof, this goes up $518.42 to $649.98 in theory, but there's a little market manipulation around this one. Raw copies are really selling for about $165, graded for about $450. Island of Walk Walk, again, there's a little market manipulation here. This goes up $585.71 to $916.90 in theory. In reality, raw copies and high grade are selling for about $300. Graded copies have gotten up to $780 on occasion, still short of the $916.90. Shatterstorm, the original one from Antiquities, goes up $916.10 to $955.56, or does it? Well, raw copies are selling for about $45, graded copies for about $65. This is some pretty big market manipulation. Ancestral Recall from Unlimited up $1,000 and a cent to $7,500. Basically, like I've been saying, when it comes to these really high-priced cards, especially Power 9, It all depends on what kind of grades are out there that week. And here's another card that is suffering from some market manipulation, Aladdin's Ring from Arabian Nights. It goes up $1,064.37 to $1,337.77. Not really. High-grade raw copies can break $100. Haven't seen any high-grade graded copies sell recently, so they would go higher. Clearly, they're not breaking 1,000 though. And our last card in this section is also suffering from some manipulation, Library of Alexandria. In theory, going up $4,163.19 to $9,999.99. High-grade raw copies are selling for about $2,500. High-grade graded copies about $5,700. Alright, welcome to the Commander Spotlight. Maybe we can afford some of these cards. Let's jump into it. Avacyn, Angel of Hope from Avacyn Restored at $4 to $44.81, just making the cut this week. Very popular Commander card, also part of the 99 in a lot of builds, including Kali of the Vast. Another popular commander in that format. This has seen additional play recently too in those Asika God of the Tree decks, and this did get a Command Zone mention this week in their video about the Commander 2021 deck, Lorehold Legacies. Dark Depths, this is the copy from the list that was added with Kjell time. This goes up $406 to $34.70 this week. Very good commander card. It's been around more now in the format in Yorn God of Winter as well as Koma Cosmos Serpent builds. This also sees legacy play in lands, Dark Depths, and more. And it gets a little vintage play too. The original Stifle from Scourge goes up $407 this week to $28.99. This does see some commander play in various builds. In Legacy though, you'll find this many times in different Delver builds, which are doing well now in that new meta, and other places too in the format. Kaya's Guile up $417 to $761. I do think this is going to see more commander play soon. I have seen this in early builds around Exodus Auric Overlord, which we saw earlier. This has been a very successful modern card though in the most recent meta, and I think that's why it's moving this much this week. It's in Esper Control, 5-color Niv Mizzet Reborn, and more. Uphiomancer, this goes up $424 to $27.62. This was getting more commander play recently in some new builds around Keltime cards, including the very popular Tergrid God of Fright. Now I am seeing this in some early deck lists around a couple Strixhaven cards we saw previously in the video, Exodus Auric Overlord and Blex Vexing Pest. Essence Sliver from Time Spiral at $434 to $15.67. This is great in those Commander Sliver builds. Furnace of Wrath, the copy from 9th edition getting a little dry online this week, going up $435 to $10.32. It is a popular Commander card though. It has seen some increased play in Toralf God of Fury / Toralf's Hammer builds. Necropotence, the copy from 5th edition goes up $437 to $63.99. This sees vintage play in Doomsday and more, getting more commander play now in Tergrid God of Fright commander decks. This is also another card that could be good in a mono black build that's trying to work in Chain of Smog and Professor Onyx. Vesuvan Doppelganger, the copy from Revised, it goes up $448 to $72.19, sees a little bit of commander play in different decks. Goblin Spymaster, this goes up $482 to $12.47, and this has been getting more play recently because of some Keltime cards. I've seen this in builds around Carter Doomscourge, Toralf God of Fury, and Agar the Freezing Flame. Pearl Medallion from Commander 2014. All the medallions have been pretty hot recently, although this is the only one that made the list today. This one is great in mono white or white heavy commander builds like Heliod Sun Crown, for example. This goes up $484 to $25.69. Personal Tutor up $485 to $114.99, and it is a tutor, so you know it's going to see some commander play in various builds like Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow, for example. And I think this might be a decent upgrade to the Prismari Performance Commander 2021 deck. Like we have been saying, there are cards in Commander 2021 in Strixhaven that let you play sorceries off the top of your deck, but in general, this could be a good card to have if you're playing with the Magecraft mechanic. Many times you'll find this in vintage Doomsday builds as well. Wasteland from Tempest up $487 to $44.99. This does see commander play in various builds. However, it's probably better known as a card that you see in a lot of different legacy and vintage decks. Phyrexian Altar from Invasion, it goes up $4.99 to $93. Great commander card and combo enabler in a lot of different decks. It got a boost recently, being in Tergrid God of Fright builds with Grave Pact. This also is another card showing up in a lot of early deck lists for Exodus Auric Overlord. Cursed Scroll. Now this does see a tad bit of commander play, but probably moving more due to its status on the reserve list. It goes up $501 to $43.49. Bomb Squad. This goes up $502 to $739. This did get some increased commander play in Magda Brazen Outlaw builds recently. Soul Echo, same story here as Cursed Scroll. I mean, sure, it could see a tad bit of commander play here or there, but again, I think this is moving because it was a cheap reserve list card. It goes up $502 to $995. Mycosynth Lattice up $514 to $42.77. This is the copy from Battle Bond. This is good in artifact-heavy commander builds like the newer Magda Brazen Outlaw deck. Now it could be a good upgrade for the Lorehold Legacies Commander 2021 deck. The front-facing commander there is Oscar the Reconstructor, but I've also been seeing a lot of players putting this card in early deck lists around a couple other new cards. The one in the middle there is one of them, Alibu Ancient Witness, which is also in that same Commander 2021 deck, and the third card, Galazeth Prismari, which is a Strixhaven card. Next we have Food Chain, the copy from the list. This is a popular commander card and combo enabler. Also is the key card in the Legacy Food Chain deck, of course. It goes up 543 to 6484. Nissa Revane, this is the copy from the list that was removed though with Kjell time. This has seen increased commander play in Lathril Blade of the Elves builds recently. It goes up 564 to 1478. Fairy Artisans up 568 to 2624. This is already in a lot of commander builds like Brutaclad Telcor Engineer. Now players are starting to pick this up to either upgrade the Quantum Quandrix Commander 2021 deck, or to build around Adrix and Nev Twincasters from scratch. This is actually another card we mentioned in that video last week talking about Adrix and Nev Twincasters. Arcane Lighthouse from Commander Anthology Volume 2. It goes up 592 to 1699 as that particular copy dries up a little bit online this week. This is a solid commander utility land, and it would be a good answer to a card that you can find in the Quantum Quandrix Commander 2021 deck. That's Guardian Augmenter. Atraxa Praetor's Voice. We mentioned this card a couple times in the video. This is the original one though from Commander 2016. It goes up $604 to $27. Remember, this particular copy only comes in foil. This is an extremely popular commander. Also shows up sometimes in a newer build, a Sika God of the Tree. Additionally, there are a lot of cards from Strixhaven and Commander 2021 that add counters, so this could gain more popularity in the future. Treachery, this goes up 604 to 119.37, and this has seen increased play in those Orvar the All-Form commander decks. Another Sliver, but this one is a Lord. This is Sliver Overlord from Scourge. It goes up 619 to 99.48. This could be your commander or part of the 99 in a Sliver build. Contamination up 727 to 94.50. This is getting increased commander play in Tergrid God of Fright decks. Also good for those mono black commander decks that might be trying to add Professor Onyx and Chain of Smog. Sword of Feast and Famine. This is the copy from the Modern Event deck. It goes up 741 this week to 68.58. This might be a decent upgrade for the Lorehold Legacies Commander 2021 deck as well. Generally, though, this is just a solid card in the format anyway. This is also in a number of Modern and Legacy builds with Stoneforge Mystic currently. Elish Norn Grand Cenobite, the Modern Masters 2015 copy up 631 to 34.99. The Iconic Masters copy goes up 760 to 35.06. Another really popular commander card here that has seen more play recently in a Sika God of the Tree. Also, this is in Legacy Reanimator and World Gorger combo as well. Cemetery Reaper, the copy from Arch Enemy, is drying up a little bit online this week, jumping up 763 to 12.98. I don't think that's going to last, though. This has seen some additional commander play recently in Narfi Betrayer King. Here's another card that's drying up online this week. I don't think this spike's going to hold. It's Denizen of the Deep, the copy from Portal Second Age. It goes up 802 to 901. Earlier I mentioned we'd see some Phyrexian Arena copies going up in value. Here they are. Apocalypse up 427 to 35.99. 9th edition up 840 to 33.51. Snapcaster Mage, Modern Masters 2017 up 652 to 65.92. And Innistrad up 860 to 68.99. This is a great commander card, seeing more play now in new builds like Orvar the Allform, Vega the Watcher, and it could see more play in the future because of the Magecraft mechanic. On top of that, this could be a good upgrade for the Prismari Performance Commander 2021 deck. Modern, it's in various control builds and more. Legacy, it's in Miracles builds and more there. Sees vintage play too. Mana Vault from Ultimate Masters. It goes up 950 to 139.49. Highly played commander card in old and new builds. This might be a decent upgrade for the Lorehold Legacies Commander 2021 deck, or you could just build around Oscar the Reconstructor from scratch and include this since it is a cheap mana rock. This of course also does see vintage play. Mana Vortex, there are not as many reserve list buyouts going on as you may have noticed in this video, but there is still some activity around a few cards from the dark. This is one of them, but this also does see a little commander play. It goes up 1174 to 84.92. Tempt with Reflections. This goes up 1257 to 14.89. This was also in our video last week where we looked at cards you might want to play with Adrix and Nev Twincasters. Players do seem to be picking this up to play with that card either in an original build or to upgrade the Quantum Quandrix Commander 2021 deck. This is currently seeing play in a number of builds in Commander, including Brutaclad Telcor Engineer and even a more recent one like Orvar the Allform. Hatred goes up $15.90 to $89.99. This could get better in Commander Pest builds in the future, maybe if people are interested in building around Blex Vexing Pest, which we saw earlier, or it could just simply be a decent upgrade for the Witherbloom Witchcraft Commander 2021 deck. This is currently found in Lisa Shroud of the Dusk and more in the format. Primal Vigor, Commander 2013 up $12.66 to $56.50. The copy from the list goes up $16.40 to $54. This has been getting more Commander play in Coma Cosmos Serpent builds, but now this is the perfect upgrade for the Quantum Quandrix Commander 2021 deck. The front-facing commander there is Adrix and Nev Twin Casters, and if you don't want to upgrade the deck, you could simply build around Adrix and Nev and include this. Or I have been seeing people including this in builds around some other new cards. Here's the other legendary creature in green and blue that comes in that commander deck, Essex Fractal Bloom, and the card on the right is a Strixhaven card, Belladros Witherbloom. Lotus Veil of $17.84 to $96.15. Now this does see commander play, but I think it's moving this much right now because it is a reserve list card. This could be the beginning of a buyout, or just maybe a light spec from somebody or a group of people out there. I do think too, maybe some people think this combos restrict Proctor, but like we mentioned earlier in the video, the Oracle text has changed this card. It says if instead of when, so it is a replacement effect. Exorcist, another card from the dark. It goes up $18.43 to $49.99. Baron Master Wizard, in theory, going up $19.07 to $74.99. I haven't seen any graded copies sell. Raw high-grade copies can break $50, though. This does see some Commander play, and Strixhaven and Commander 2021 have brought us some new Wizards, which are powerful in some cases. A little bit of Wizard support, too. That could encourage some players to build new versions of Commander Wizard tribal decks around something like Naban Dean of Iteration, for example. But I also think the fact that this is on the reserve list has a lot to do with the amount that it has increased. Additionally, I have seen this in an early Galazeth Prismari build. I suppose this could be good in any build where you create a lot of tokens quickly, and Strixhaven as well as Commander 2021 lend their support to that strategy, no doubt. Creature from the Dark is next, going up $20.85 to $184.98. I have not seen any graded copies of this selling recently. High-grade raw copies, though, can sell for $100 to $160 typically. Also, I did see this in some early Exodus Auric Overlord builds, so maybe it will get some more Commander play. Alright, the last card in this section is Mind Bomb, another card from the dark, but this one is not on the reserve list. It's been reprinted, you can get cheaper copies. It goes up $24.98 to $47.25 in theory. In reality, though, high-grade raw copies are only selling for $15 to $22. Sure, this can see a tad bit of Commander play, but this one feels like a buyout. Alright, time for that premium spotlight. There is so much happening in the secondary market when it comes to premium cards. Just kind of take a look around. You might notice some things like the Godzilla foils, for example. They're starting to move. 7th edition foils are being 7th edition foils, and they're spiking again in a lot of cases. But remember, there's a lot of manipulation out there too, so be careful if you're going to make some purchases. Like always, I picked a few cards to talk about that give you an idea of what's happening in the market. As Foretold is our first card today. The foil from Amonkhet goes up $10.68 to $26.69, and I have been seeing raw copies of this sell for over $20. Kaya's Guile, the Modern Horizons foil, up $16.59 to $39.99, and I have been seeing copies of this sell for around $30, so close. Power Matrix, the foil from Mercadian Masks, it goes up $27.88 to $198.88. There's not too many of these that have sold recently. I did see a raw sell for about $150. The last graded one sold a while ago. It also sold for about $150. So it stands to reason the next graded one could sell for this price point, maybe even more. This could be a decent upgrade for the Lorehold Legacies Commander 2021 deck. Shardless Agent, the Eternal Masters foil up $10.83 to $17.22. The Judge foil up $56.70 to $76.99. Now this one's interesting because these prices don't reflect what I'm seeing for sales. But some information just came out that could definitely push the sales up closer to these price points. Again, if you don't want to hear about leaked information, I'll let you go ahead and skip to the next card. Now, that same person that talked about the Modern Horizons information mentioned that this card was going to be reprinted there, which would make it modern legal in the future. That is why people are now speccing on these foils. The Judge foils have been selling for around $15 to $20. The Eternal Masters foils about $5 to $10. But like I said, that is before that information came out, so I would expect them to go up. This currently does see some Commander play in Averna the Chaos Bloom and more. Thrumming Stone, the foil copy from Cold Snap, in theory going up $97.41 to $325. In reality, high-grade copies have been going for about $100, not $325. but that's still about $40 higher than they were last week. And like a lot of cards you're seeing in this section, this is not the type of card most people are going to get created. Now, traditionally, this card goes up in value whenever a new card comes out that lets you break the 1 card per deck rule in Commander. And this time, the card's coming from Strixhaven. It is Dragon's Approach. So imagine you build a Commander deck where you can tutor up that Thrumming Stone, and you pack your deck with a bunch of these. Yeah, your opponents could be having a bad day. Deserted Temple, the foil from Odyssey, goes up $149.38 this week to $643.75. In reality, high-grade graded copies did sell for about $590 this week, so close. High-grade raw copies are going for about $250. This is a great Commander card used many times to untap a land that can provide a lot of mana, like Cabal Coffers, for example. This has seen increased Commander play recently in Turgid God of Fright builds. Speaking of Cabal Coffers, here it is. The Friday Night Magic promo goes up $44.95 to $242.35. The Torment foil up $1,213.62 to $1,499.97. Is that for real? Well, the Friday Night Magic card, the high-grade raw copies are selling for about $120. The Torment foil is a high-grade raw copy, recently sold for about $370 in auction. Both of these have market manipulation attached to it, especially that Torment foil. Now, when it comes to gameplay, this is a fantastic Commander card that got more play recently in Turgid God of Fright, and this plays very well with Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, which was recently reprinted in Time Spiral Remastered. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode of the Market Watch. If you made it this far, hey, thanks for sticking with me. As always, hey, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.